Hi, Ray here. I'm glad you could join me. We're on location today down at this lagoon, and I'm going to try and compare, just in practical terms, this part is not going to be scientific, but just in practical terms, we're going to compare the older 2x teleconverter. This is the AFS teleconverter TC20E3 F-mount, and we're going to compare that to the new Z-mount equivalent for use with this older VR2 70-200 and this new Z-mount 70-200, both 2.8. So let's see what we can do here. We've certainly got plenty of birds to choose from. So I'm a little bit rusty, but we'll give it a go. With the Ninja 5 on here, there's no way I can balance this rig. Well, that was New Year's Day, and incidentally, Happy New Year to you all. I should have known better than to set up at a popular birding area, because I just couldn't get anything done for people coming up wanting to talk tech.
What are you using? Sony?
Oh God, no. Please. And I don't always want to talk tech, so by the time I'd answered everyone's questions, the sun had dipped below the horizon. So I didn't really get too much out of that. The whole object of this enterprise has been to compare the two teleconverters. Since that last attempt, we've been hit by one storm after another. It's just been brutal. And the snow has only just cleared here the last couple of days since it's warmed up. Anyway, no more excuses. So one of the first things that you'll notice here between these two lenses, which incidentally are set up at 200 millimeters with the 2x teleconverter, so that's 400 millimeters, you should notice a difference in the apparent or actual focal length and of course the compression between the two lenses. And that's because the old F-mount version really doesn't give you that 400 millimeters. So I should make that clear. These are both set at 200 millimeters with the doubler, apparently to give us 400 millimeters. And I'm standing quite a ways here. I can't tell you the exact, what would it be, like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 meters away. Last summer, in a similar approach, I compared the two 70-200 lenses. I'm not a wildlife photographer, so I've never been able to rationalize the purchase of one of the super teles. So this 70-200 with the 2x teleconverter has been my go-to for wildlife photography for well over a decade. I've made literally hundreds and hundreds of photographs with that combo. None of them prize winners, but that's nothing to do with the 70-200 or the teleconverter or the combination thereof. Certainly I think there are big advantages, and they're really worth their weight in, well, grams anyway. Of course there's the 1.4x teleconverter, and evidently, according to many reviews, the new Z-mount version, there's absolutely no loss of IQ using that teleconverter. But I'm looking more for the extra reach of the 2x, at least in terms of using with the 70-200. When it comes to the 2x teleconverters, if you don't mind the loss in f-stops, 2 in this case, then with the 70-200 2.8 you end up with a 5.6 and of course a long end of 400 millimeters. Those of you considering this as a teleconverter for the newly released 100-400 f4.5 to 5.6 VRS, then you're looking at a minimum aperture of f11. Obviously the new 70-200 is a superior lens. The new Z-mount is what I'm talking about. It's a superior lens, and I think we saw that from my last comparison, particularly in terms of the coatings that fight flare, lens flare, and so on. The F-mount 70-200 with the teleconverter and the FTZ adapter is quite the rig. It makes it look really quite impressive. But as I've said before, there's no cost when it comes to function of the focusing or IQ. You know, the FTZ adapter is simply a spacer. Of course, if you're shooting video, there's no ignoring the noise of the motors on the older f-mount lens. But otherwise, the actual focusing accuracy and speed is quite good, for my use anyway. The urgency to make this video comes down to the fact that as soon as I get the call that my Z9 is in, both this 70-200 lens and the 2x teleconverter, the 20E, are going in as a trade-in. The main influence on these decisions always comes down to budget. And let me put it this way, if you came upon my traded in f-mount lens and teleconverter, would it be a good deal? Absolutely. I say go for it. Mind you, the shop is obviously going to mark up what they gave me for it. I'm still on the fence when it comes to the newly released 100-400 variable aperture lens. I'd like to see or know more about the newly announced 400mm with the built-in teleconverter. So that's going to be it for this installment, except to announce that finally I've received a couple of items I need for when my Z9 does arrive, hopefully before the month's out. Mind you, this delivery saga has been epic in itself. It took nearly a month to get here. Most of that time stuck on this side of the border in Canada Post system. So we have the Delkin Black 512 gigabyte CFExpress card, the USB 3.2 CFExpress card reader from Delkin Devices, and a full-size HDMI cable because the Z9 has a full-size HDMI, unlike the mini of my Z6s. Now the USB 3.2 is only 10 gigabits a second rather than say the pro-grade USB-C reader, which is 40 gigabits a second. But this was also half the price. So I think it'll suffice for now. It looks like it's well built, looks tough. It's got this little trapdoor on the end, and you can actually leave a card in here. So I have to cut corners somewhere. I'll put links to this stuff down in the description. They're affiliate links, so if you click through and buy anything, I get a small commission at no extra cost to you. So I hope this was worthwhile. I realized that it was neither scientific nor comprehensive, but if you do find that it's useful, please do give it the old thumbs up. I guess if you got this far, it goes without saying. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do hit the notification bell to be alerted to new content. Cheers, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you later.